Hello friends, welcome to Easy Nurse, where nursing education made easy. In this session, we are going to discuss most important and expected topic, the hot topic that can definitely come in your exam of psychology of post basic BSc first year. So, psychology is understanding the human behavior and emotion. So, one by one, we will explore these topics together. So, let's get started. So, our first question is, define learning, explain the Pavlov classical conditioning theory and its application. So, we will see the definition of learning. So, learning is defined as a modification in behavior through experience. So, like human is there and human is like every day the human is learning the new things. And why we are learning? Because of our experience. Experience will take place, and because of the experience we will learn and we will develop the new things in us. So, this is the definition of learning. Next one is a Pavlov classical conditioning theory. So, Pavlov classical conditioning theory originates from his research on dog digestive system. So, Pavlov is the person who did the research, who conducted the theory, and in that he have discussed about the dog digestive system. During his study, Pavlov noticed that dog would begins to salivate not only when they were tasted food but also when they saw the lab assistants. So he saw that whenever the dog is seeing the food, so he will start salivate, as well as whenever there is an lab assistant is there, so at that time also the dog is salivating, who typically fed them. Pavlov realized that this response was not due to the biological reflexes, but rather than learned through association. So Pavlov believed that it is not because of biological reflexes. Maybe it is learned and it is associated with learning only. And for that purpose, to understand this only, the Pavlov conducted his own research. Steps in the Pavlov experiment. So previously, before doing the conditioning, what was there? The dog naturally salivates when it sees food, and sound of bell alone does not cause salivation. So dog is there, and whenever Pavlov show the food to the dog, at that time the dog will start salivating. But once the bell will ring in front of the dog will not start salivating alone. So during conditioning, Pavlov ring the bell and immediately present the food. So after that, what Pavlov did? Pavlov first ring the bell, after that gave food to the dog to eat. After several pairing, the dog start to associate the bell with food. So after practicing this thing, after doing this thing, the dog have also recognized that whenever bell will ring, I will get the food. And that thing was takes place, and once the bell will ring, so at that time the dog will start salivating. So after conditioning, the bell alone can elicit the salivation even without the food being presented. So now after that, what was start to happen? The bell will be get ring and dog will start to salivate without food presenting. So this is what the Pavlov did in his experiment, in his research. So application of the classical conditioning, we can apply it in the education. So using praise to associate the positive feelings with learning. So we can associate the positive feelings with the learning, and in that way we can go and we can advance our learning. Next one is a phobia therapy. Gradual exposure reduce fear. So if you are having any fear of particular thing, so like recently like exposure or constant exposure with that thing to which you are having fear, so that will reduce your fear. Next one is the addiction treatment. Pairing an unpleasant response with the addictive behavior. So if any unpleasant thing is there, so pair that thing with the addiction. So once you pair that thing, so addiction will easy to remove for that person. Next one is the animal training. Associated signals with a reward for the desired behavior. So we will give the reward to the dog and we will associate that thing with the behavior, and then only the dog training can be successfully completed, successfully done. Next one is a insomnia treatment. Associating bedroom with a sleep to induce drowsiness. So if the person is having insomnia, the person is not getting sleep, so in that state what can person do? They can associate the bedroom with sleep, then only they will feel drowsy. So this is the learning. Next question is, define memory, explain the types of memory with example. So what is memory? Like we are having our brain, but memory is totally a different thing. It will get developed by our experiences, by our learning, and we will store information in our brain. So that is what memory. So the ability or power of our brain means it is a power which we cannot see. Okay, so it is a power of our mind to store the past experiences of learning and utilizing them at the later stage is known as a memory. So whenever we are requiring that power, whenever we require that learning thing, we can revise that and we can perform the activity with the help of memory. So that is the definition of memory. Next one is the types of memory. Here there are various types of memory, and one by one we will discuss the types of memory. So first one is a sensory memory. So in the sensory memory, the briefest form of memory capturing sensory information, sight, sound, touch for a very short time, usually less than a second. So whatever is there, if there is a sensory information that we are having in our mind that will take a second, so that is what sensory memory. So example is when you see a flash of lighting. So whenever there is a flash of lighting on you, sensory memory hold and visual images briefly after it disappear. So visual image will come after that, the light will disappear. So next one is a short-term memory. So short-term memory hold the information temporarily. It will not get stored permanently for processing. Typically 15 to 30 seconds. For the short-term memory, the memory duration will be 15 to 30 seconds only. So short-term memory has a limited capacity, about 7 items. So at a time we can recall or we can remember 7 items. So that is the short-term memory. Next one, example. Remembering the phone number long enough to dial it but forgetting it soon after. So once you wanted someone's number, you will ask that number. For that period of time, you will remember that number. But after a second, after a 2 or 3, 15 seconds, you will forget that. So that is what short-term memory. Next, we will discuss the long-term memory. So long-term memory will store the information in your mind for the long period of time. Often it is permanent. So it can permanently also be there in your mind. So long-term memory has two types. First one is a explicit memory and second one is a implicit memory. So the explicit memory where you will use the conscious recall, means consciously you will try to recall something, and in that also explicit also we are having the two classification, that is episodic and semantic. So in the episodic you will remember your personal things only, for example your birth date. So that is what episodic, but it is a long-term memory. Next one is a semantic, means fact and knowledge. Example, the capital of the France is Paris. That we are knowing, right? So that facts and knowledge which we are remember for long period of time, that will comes under the semantic memory. Next one is a implicit. So unconscious memory, like skill. So whenever we wanted to perform such skill like brushing belly, that doesn't require skill to us. Why? Because unconsciously we are doing it, we are repeating that action again and again. So that is comes under the implicit memory. So procedural, how to do the things, example riding a bike. Firstly, we will felt difficult to ride a bike whenever it is an initial period. But once you learn how to drive, it will be easy for you and that will get stored in your procedural memory. So that is what is long-term memory comes under this. Next one is a permanent memory. So memories will be there which is stored permanently in your brain. So under the permanent memory, it is possible to remember the things permanently. So you will remember the things for the permanent period of time. Next one is a rote memory. So rote memory is the ability to remember information through the repetition. So we will repeat the things again and again without understanding the meaning. Means here we will not going to focus on the meaning. We will just try to learn something, such as a crepe cycle is there. You will try to remember the step, but how it is takes place in, you will not focus in that. So that is what you will use, rote memory you use. Next one is it involves memorizing facts, list or procedure by repeating, practicing them. Means we will practice it again and again and we will recall that thing. So that is comes under the rote memory. Next one is the logical memory. It refers to the ability to remember information by understanding relationship, meaning and concept rather than through a repetition. So here we are not going to focus on the repetition. We will just focus on the meanings, what is the concept, and we will try to understand that concept. And in that manner, we will try to store that information in our brain. So that is what logical memory. Next one is the active memory and passive memory. So active memory is a working memory. It is a part of our brain that temporarily holds and manipulates information needed for the task like reasoning, problem solving, decision making. So with the help of active memory, you can do a certain things such as decision making. At the time you can do the decision making, you can solve any problem with the help of active memory. So it is limited in the capacity and is essential for processing, storing information you are currently using, such as when you solve a problem of math. So solving problem or having the conversation, that are the things are done or performing because of what? Active memory. Next one is a passive memory. So passive memory is a long-term memory store where the information is stored for the later use without active manipulation. So in the passive memory, we will store that information and we will use that memory later. So that is a long-term memory, we can also say. Unlike active memory, which is use the immediate task. So in the active memory, what we are doing, we are performing the immediate task. But in the passive memory, we will do the task later. Okay, involves information that is not currently in the use but written over the time, such as a fact, experiences and learned skill. So this is the active memory, passive memory and the various types of the memory. Next we will going to define intelligence, discuss the measurements of intelligence, enumerate the uses of intelligence test. So here we will discuss what is intelligence. So it is a mental quality consisting of ability to learn from experiences. So we will learn the things from the experience and we will try to solve the problem and use knowledge to adapt the new situation. So whatever the new situation is there, whatever the new problem occurring in our life, we will try to solve that problem with the intelligence, with the quality, mental quality we are having, and that is what intelligence. And this definition is given by David G. Mayers in 2004. Next, we will discuss the measurement of intelligence. With the help of what we can understand, we can measure how intelligent we are. So there are certain tests are there, and with the help of that, we will understand. So first one is the individual intelligence test. So an individual intelligence test is one-on-one exam where the trained psychologist assess the person cognitive ability. So psychologist will be there and the person will be there, and that psychologist will assess the intelligence level, the cognitive abilities of that person. It is tailored to measure the different areas like problem solving, memory, reasoning through a range of tasks. Test like a Belcher scale and the Stanford Binet, for example. So this is the example of individual intelligence test. So in that, the psychologist will mainly focus on the person's ability of problem solving, memory, and how the person is performing and doing the reasoning. Next one is the group intelligence test. So here the group of people will be there, and on the group of people, the psychologist will try to assess the intelligence their level and the cognitive level of that group. So the group intelligence tests are designed to measure the cognitive abilities in the multiple individual at the same time. So these tests are typically administered in the school, workplaces and military setting. So where the group of people will be there in the school as well as in workplace and in the military setting. So on that group, the psychologist will try to do the group intelligence test. Next one is a verbal intelligence test. So verbal intelligence test is a type of assessment focused on evaluating the language-based cognitive abilities. So here the major focus is on the language, how the person using vocabulary, comprehension, verbal reasoning and communication skill. These tests measure how well person understand, process and use the language, how the person is processing that language, how they are understanding and how it is helpful for that person. So that thing will come under the verbal intelligence test. Next, we are going to discuss about the non-verbal performance test. So in the non-verbal performance test are intelligence assessment that focus on evaluating cognitive abilities without relying on language. So here we will not going to focus on the language. Here we will focus on which thing that is a skill we will focus on, then recognition, spatial reasoning, problem solving, visual perception. So on these things we will going to focus on this in this non-verbal performance test. Okay. So next one is the verbal and non-verbal intelligence tests. So here we will focus on both verbal as well as non-verbal. So combined verbal and non-verbal intelligence tests assess both language-based and non-language based cognitive abilities, providing the comprehensive view of the person overall intelligence. So it will provide the complete view how the person is. We will see the verbal side also, and we will see the non-verbal side of that person. And this test evaluate the verbal skill like vocabulary, comprehension, verbal reasoning alongside with non-verbal skill as well as. Okay, so this is the verbal and non-verbal intelligence test. Next, we are going to discuss the use of intelligence test. So where we can use this intelligence test. So first one is the educational placement. So whenever we have to place some student in some particular gifted program, you can say, so at that period of time we can place because of this, with the help of this intelligence test. So identifying student for the gifted program, special education or talent learning plans. Next one is a diagnosis. So help diagnosis of the intellectual abilities, learning disorder and cognitive impairment. So if any person or if a student are having any learning disability, any learning disorder is there in the student, so with the help of intelligence test, you can assess that and you can diagnose that. Next one is a career and job screening. Assess aptitude for the specific role, especially in the field of requiring quick thinking and problem solving. So with the help of intelligence test, you can place someone and you can help someone to choose appropriate career as well as the job screening. It will help for the job screening as well. Next one is a clinical assessment. So evaluating cognitive functions in the cases of brain injury. So if the person is having any brain injury and because of that the person is having the dementia or mental health condition, that also we can assess, we can diagnose with the help of intelligence test. Next one is the research. So many research we can do with the help of intelligence test, and guidance and counseling we will do according to the person or according to the number of people who are having the intelligence level. Like according to the intelligence test, we will do the guidance and counseling. So this is the uses of intelligence test. Next we are going to discuss what is mental health, explain the characteristics of the mentally healthy person. So, mental health refers to a person's emotional, psychological, social well-being which affect how they think, feel and behave. So, mental health is something what? Person emotion, how the person is emotionally, how the psychological state of mind of that person, how the social well-being is there, and what the factor that can affect his thinking, behavior and how the feelings are get affected. So, that is what mental health. So, it plays crucial role in managing stress. Managing stress, mental health can play a very important and crucial role. Relating to others, making decisions and coping with the life challenges, good mental health is not just an absence of mental illness, it involves the positive state of mind, adaptability and resilience. So, mental health we cannot say if the person is having not any mental illness means that person is mentally healthy. No. Mentally healthy person may having positive state of mind as well as adaptability must be there and resilience must be there in the mentally healthy person. Next one is the characteristics of the mentally healthy person. So first one is the emotional stability. So whatever emotion it is going in our life, right? So it should not get affected to us. So we should have the emotional stability, and that person only we can call it as a emotionally stable. So mentally healthy people manage their emotional well, showing resilience in fact of stress and adversity. So they will face the stress of the life and still they will show the emotional stability in their life. Next one is a self-awareness. They will aware about their strength, weakness, emotions, motivation and helping them make well-informed decision. So they will aware about themselves, whatever the strength they are having, what is the weakness of that, what is the weakness they are having, and they will understand their emotion well. So that is self-awareness. Next one is a positive relationship. So they maintain the healthy and supportive relationship, communicate effectively and show empathy towards the others. So they will try to maintain the positive relationship with the other people and they will never disrespect someone and they will show the empathy towards the other people. So that is the sign of mentally healthy person. Next one is the adaptability. So they are highly adaptable. They can manage, they can adjust to any changing situation. So mentally healthy individual can adjust to the change, handle the setback and adapt their behavior and thinking when circumstances required it. So whenever the circumstances comes like that, they have to adapt. So they will show the highest and largest adaptability. Next one is a balanced life. So they will balance each and everything of their life. They will manage their work, their relationship, personal times and self-care. So all these things they will manage togetherly. The next one is a productive and goal-oriented. Mentally healthy people are able to work productively. They will show the productivity from their work and set and pursue the goal and sense of accomplishment. So whatever the role, whatever the goal they have set in their life, they will try to achieve that. They will be always goal-oriented and they will try to work productively. So that is the one of the important and biggest characteristics of mentally healthy person. Next one is a self-confidence. They have a positive self-image, trust in their abilities, which help them approach challenges with optimism. So they are self-confident. They are having a positive self-image. Next one is an effective coping skill. So mentally healthy people use a healthy coping mechanism to handle stress. So whatever the stress are coming in their life, so they knows how to face that stress, how to deal with that stress, right? Such as problem solving, mindfulness and seeking support when needed. So whenever they are facing any problem in their life and whenever the problem in their life, so they will try to solve their problem by their own and they will use the mindfulness. So these are all the characteristics of the mentally healthy person. Next, we are going to discuss the laws of learning. This question can definitely come for 10 marks or for 5 marks. They maybe can ask you for the definition, the laws of learning, the principles of learning, so that you have to know. So we will see the laws of learning. So the laws of learning are the fundamental principle developed through the psychological research. So many psychological researches will take place and because of that only the law of learning is developed. So that describe how people learn and retain the new information or skill. So whenever there is a new information and skill, that person have to remember, the person have to retain. So at that time, this law of learning will be helpful for that person. Next, this principle often associated with the educational psychology help explain how learning occur and give effective teaching and training practices. So with the help of this, you can guide effectively in the teaching as well as you can teach and you can train and you can do the practice. Next one is a law of readiness. So first law is law of readiness. So learning occur when the learner is mentally and physically ready. So if you are not ready, like someone is forcing you to learn the things to understand a particular topic, so you will not learn that, right? So mentally you should be prepared, physically you should be prepared to learn a particular thing. If a person is prepared and willingness to learn, they are more likely to engage and retain the information. So the person is willingness to learn the things, they will learn more details than others. Next one is the law of effect. So positive outcome reinforce learning. So if there is a positive outcome of the learning, so the person will try to learn the things better way. So while negative outcome weaken it. So if you are getting negative outcome after learning the things, so you will think like that, I don't want to learn. So law of effect is very important, means if there is a positive reinforcement, you will try to learn new things. But if there is a negative reinforcement, you will never try to learn the new things. So its response is followed by the satisfaction or a reward result. So it is likely to be repeated. So this law highlights the role of motivation and reward in reinforcing learning. Next one is the law of exercise. So practice and repetition strengthen the learning. So how many times you have practiced the thing, that thing will get written in your brain, and in that way you can remember a particular topic, and that will helpful for you to learn the things in the better way. The more often a behavior or a skill is practiced, the more likely is to remember. So the law of emphasize the importance of the regular practice. So you should do the regular practice. Your exam is there. If you are not practice regularly, you will not score good in the exam. So what you need now? You have to do the law of exercise. You have to apply the law of exercise. Now you are studying. okay, for your study. Next one is a law of primacy. So information learned first is often written better than information learned later. This suggests that teaching foundational or fundamental information first will aid in the further building the learning effectively. So whatever the basic information is there, so we have to teach that first. After that, we will go into the complex idea. So if example, I will take the example of anatomy and physiology. If I will not tell you the anatomy of the heart, do you able to understand the physiology of the heart? No. So first we will see the basic thing and then only we will move toward the complex things. Next one is the law of recency. So most recent information learned is generally remembered best, and this principle highlights the importance of reviewing the material close to when it is needed, such as before an exam and performance. So whatever we have recently have learned, so that will store in your mind for the long period of time. So that is was law of recency. Next one is law of intensity. A vivid, exciting or intense experience is more likely to remember. So if your teacher is teaching you, but your teaching is not interested to teach, so what will happen? You will also feel like that ki I don't want to learn, right? But if your teacher is excited to teach you and the teacher is providing you intense experience, so at that time you will remember that thing ki yes, my teacher said that, my teacher told that. Like that only the learning can be facilitated. Engaging in the learner with the real world hands-on experiences and emotionally engaging content can enhance retention. Next one is the law of freedom. So we have to give the space and time to the learner. According to his time, according to his space, that person can learn the things. So the people learn better when they have the freedom to choice. Next, allowing learners some choices in their learning path encourage engagement and responsibility, leading to the more meaningful and lasting learning. Next one is a law of association. So new learning build on the previous knowledge. This law suggests that connecting new information to what is already known help with understanding and retention. So whatever we are previously knowing, so if we associated that thing, that right now what we are learning, so that will help for the law of association. So in that way you can remember that thing for the long period of time. So this is the law of learning. Next, we will going to discuss definition of motivation, write the types of motives, explain the Maslow theory of hierarchy of need. So, what is motivation? Every day we used to say that I am not feeling motivated, I am demotivated, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Like every time the student will complain about this. And this is your exam period and now you have to be motivated for your exam. Because exam is going to be tough. But we are here and we are helping you. So just stay calm and just stay focused. So what is motivation? So motivation is defined as a process that accounts for an individual intensity, direction, persistence of efforts towards the attaining the goal. So whatever the goal we are having in our mind, we will try, we will show some intensity and we will act to direct to, to achieve that goal in our life. And this definition is given by Stephen P. Robbins. Next, we will discuss the types of motive. So, there are basically three types of motive as you can see. So, first one is a biological or a primary motive. Next one is a secondary and social motive. Third one is a personal and psychological motive. So, in the biological one, which is necessary, without that we cannot survive, means it is a primary motive. So, that is what hunger and thirst. If I tell you that do not had food for at least 15 or 20 days, you will agree? No. So, hunger and thirst is a basic need. Without that, we cannot survive. Without that, we cannot live. So, that is the primary motive. Next one is a sleep and rest. Sexual drive, avoidance of pain. We don't want to face the pain. Next one is a social and secondary motive. So, achievement. We are here to achieve something. We want recognition from each and every people. For that comes under the secondary motive. Affiliation, power, recognition we want, right? So that things comes under the secondary motive. Next one is a personal or psychological motive. So curiosity and exploration, self-actualization where we will learn, where we will know our own capacity, our own strength and weaknesses, independence and competence. So this comes under the personal and psychological motives. Next one is Maslow hierarchy of need. So this definition and this diagram you have to draw when there is your exam. Like basic triangle you have to draw, and like that manner you have to write the things whatever given here. So first one is a physiological, second one is a safety, social, esteem, and self-actualization, self-fulfillment is there. Okay, so we will see this one by one. So it is a psychological theory that propose human have a 5 level of need. So Maslow, who the person have divided this need according to the level, which must be satisfied in the specific order. So first one is a physiological need. So basic survival need like food, water, sleep and shelter. So this is the basic need. Without that you cannot survive. That things comes under the psychological need. After that, what we want? After that, we want safety, right? Safety need is there. The need for security, stability and protection from harm. If there is any harmful situation is there and you are not feeling safe, so that is like very fearful experience for you, right? So safety needs, it comes secondary. Next one is love and belongingness. We want love, we need belongingness. There is our father, mother is there, they are spreading love and providing love and belongingness to us. So the desire for the relationship, friendship, love and sense of belongingness is the third essential needs, which is given by the Maslow hierarchy. Next one is the esteem needs. So the need of self-respect, recognition and sense of accomplishment. So we want respected. Everyone want to be respected, right? So esteem need is a fourth one. And last one is a self-actualization, where you will realize your own self, your potential, your personal growth and self-fulfillment you will see here. So this is all about the Maslow hierarchy of need. I hope you have understand about the today's topic what we have discussed. For more such videos, do follow us. Until then, bye bye and take care.